We're here with Rabbi Stephen Prozanski from B'nai Yeshurun Congregation in New Jersey. Rabbi Prozanski, thanks very much for joining us here.
My pleasure to be here.
So could you tell us a little bit about what you've seen and experienced here at AIPAC and what you think you're going to take from it back to your community?
I think the thing that's always most impressive is that here you have 14,000 people who are dedicated to Medinat Yisrael, the state of Israel, and in an environment where it's really in some places countercultural to be supportive of Israel, to be so many lovers of Israel, and min hakatzeh lakatzeh, from one end of the spectrum in Jewish life to the other, including a few thousand non-Jews here, so that's always very rewarding. And especially, we hear a lot about the problems that the Jewish college students are having on campuses today because of the anti-Israel propaganda and actions that are taking place. And here you have at AIPAC 2,000 college students representing 450 different colleges, so they will become the voice for pro-Israel activism on their campuses and going forward as well.
And obviously the AIPAC conference is an annual event once a year, but I understand in your shul, in your congregation, you are conducting pro-Israel events on a relatively regular basis, is that correct?
Well, we're very active in our shul for many years, at least 20 years already, going back to the Oslo days where we were in the forefront of the opposition to the process. And to this day, we maintain a staunch belief that Eretz Yisrael is given to us by Kadosh Baruch Hu, and we don't negotiate away parts of the Torah. So we've always been very firm in that belief. And therefore, our approach has been consistent over the years, and I think it's been strengthened over the last few years. So many of our children made Aliyah in the last years, including my own daughter with her grandchildren. Another daughter is coming this June with more grandchildren. So we have very deep roots in Eretz Yisrael.
So as an Orthodox rabbi at an event with such a wide variety of people, how have you have you had a chance to speak to other religious ministers? For example, last night there was a great, I don't know if you were there for it,
I was not. I was at a wedding yesterday, so I only came here this morning.
Yeah, there was that preacher who
arrived from past AIPAC policy conferences. You have a lot of non-Jews here, lovers of Israel, Zionists, Bible-believing Christians. I think what's eye-opening, not every Jew, not every rabbi necessarily is as Bible-believing, as firm in their understanding of what God gave the Jewish people as sometimes are some of these Christian ministers. So in fact, there was even one this morning, a female African-American minister who was bellowing, and I believe that God gave the land to the Jewish people, and Yerushalayim is the capital of the state of Israel, and the Jews have the right to defend themselves, etc. Things that you don't always hear from the American rabbinate. And I think when they hear a non-Jew say that, maybe it unlocks the passion that should be there, and they'll become a little more active and proactive in their support for Israel.
Well, thanks very much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the event.